Yeah. Boys are back in town.
Hey, holy shit, we're almost on time.
Right? Yeah. 8 minutes. 8 minutes late. That means we're right on time. Whenever I show up, it starts. It's called being on time. Welcome to the program. My name is Dean. Nice to see you here, ladies and gentlemen, on a Monday as we leap into the week. Spring is here. It's pissing snow in the GTA. It's not really spring. It just is according to the calendar. That's pretty much it. Lachlan Cross joins me today as well. We got a couple of guests.
It's actually supposed to be a little bit longer spring in Alberta. They're saying that
little more.
We're going to have a cooler April.
Yeah.
And then May is going to come on. Like we were talking about this morning. Apparently the allergy season is supposed to be really short this year, but extremely powerful. So if you have any allergy issues.
Yep, me right here.
Yeah. Do you? Okay, you might want to make sure you stock up.
I was that kid that showed up in like the second grade and everybody looked at like because the light.
Your dad had weak sperm.
Yeah, is that the deal? My dad had weak jizz. Is that the deal? Yeah. I had no idea.
And he probably drank and smoked pretty hard through the pregnancy.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Mom drank and smoked.
So did mom.
Yeah, did she really? Oh, so you got allergies too? You're that guy the eyes blow up for a couple weeks in the spring? No.
I get snow mold. I got a snow mold issue.
You know, when I grew up, I remember my teacher telling me people with allergies are basically pussies. And I'm like, I guess so. Guess I'm a huge pussy. I can't even get through fucking April without sneezing for like an entire month. So that's how I look at people with allergies now, like they're huge pussies. So I happen to be one of them. You happen to be one of them too. Anyway, nice to see you. Nice to be here.
Go to Costco, get the spray with the green.
No.
Yeah. Oh, that stuff's the best. What do you use?
What, for allergies? Reactant. A little one reactant a day from like April to May.
Yeah, you're a pill popper.
Yeah, I love pills. Big pill guy. You're a fucking pill popper.
I hate those fucking pills. I feel like I'm swimming through the world.
Like, you know what I mean? Like reactant? No.
Oh yeah, I take.
You know what it's really good for? The reactant's good for dingers too. If you want a better dinger, reactant.
Okay.
Works. Yeah.
All
a
right.
lot of guys
Changing
use
my
a lot
opinion.
of porn stars. Yeah. You should use your reactant on a daily basis. It's a vasodilator, right? So it gets the blood moving everywhere.
Does it?
Yes, it does. The same thing with Advil. So you want a better dinger? Little reactant. Speaking of dingers, welcome to the program today. We got a humdinger for you. You like that? That's not bad.
Yeah.
It's a good segue.
You're leaning on your old radio segue days.
We've got a humdinger for you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Chopper. Flonase. That's the way to go.
I don't do Flonase.
It might be a bit addictive too.
I don't squirt
Makes
things in my nose.
Excellent soup.
No, it doesn't. Anyway, humdinger of a show for you today. We're pivoting here at deanblundell.com, which is now crier.co. And when I say pivoting, we've spent the last couple of years duking it out with people, talking about pandemics, talking about culture, talking about you and telling you you're no good and you're telling us we're no good. Everybody's sick and tired. I'm tired of it. I'm exhausted by it. No more, no mas. We want to bring people together, and we have a trigger to do that. You know my friend Ryan Lindley from the Sheeple Shepherd podcast?
I'm a fan of Lynn's.
Big fan of the man. Bit of a pitmaster, barbecue guy, food guy. Had this incredible brand before we went down the road of the pandemic and put it on hold so he could fight the good fight. Well, he's back. Getting Sauced is launching this weekend. The podcast, the brand, with our man Lynn's, tailor-made for him. And what we wanted to do is have a weekend with everybody where we could say, hey, let's all relax. I don't care about your mask. I don't care about your vaccine. I don't care about your pay-per-views. I don't care about where you're from. I don't care about your religion. Kind of do, but I don't. I'm just saying that. I don't care about any of those things. What we want to do is we want to say, here we are. Let's spring into the summer on a positive note, on a unified note, right? Mm-hmm. And what is something that brings everyone on this planet together always, other than porn? Bingo. So today is about food. It's about unity. It's about barbecue. It's about getting to know people who've been doing this, bringing people together with meat, barbecue, good times, drinks, cigars. It's about bringing people together to enjoy lives, and we're doing it with barbecue and meat. And I'm very excited to bring in not only a recurring guest here on this program, a gentleman who needs no introduction from Getting Sauce
/ co-host.
Yeah, and co-host. Getting Sauce podcast. Ryan Lindley, ladies and gentlemen, making his return to the program. Ryan Lindley from Getting Sauce, the guy who's bringing everybody around this weekend.
This is cool. I haven't been brought into this show in like years. I feel like royalty. Normally, I'm just an asshole that's on the panel.
No, you're not the asshole on the panel. You're the asshole that does the barbecue. Yeah, massive head.
Takes up most of the screen.
Hey, I'm gonna come back a bit. I'm sitting a little too close. This new camera setup, the way you guys have it, is
that's okay. We'll change the camera action when we get our next guest in here because you're starting this journey. We're bringing people together this weekend. Cheese Boutique, Saturday, Sunday, downtown Toronto. All the details, all the menu items, where it is, times, what's happening are in the description of this podcast. Wherever you get your fine podcast, this is where you need to go. But my point is this, is that if you, my friends, have the ability to come and join us this weekend, we want to say thank you. We want to say hello. We want to enjoy a good time with you. And we're doing it this weekend at the Cheese Boutique. And Ryan, you and Chef Chris, literal chef, are in charge of the menu, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
Uh-huh. We are, along with my wife, who made these butter tarts that are going to be there.
You are not going to do that. You're going to sit here and eat
maple pecan butter tarts.
Yeah.
They're so good. Yeah. Saturday, April 1st, Sunday, April 2nd, starting at 11 a.m. My brother-in-law is a executive chef. He's a Red Seal guy, and graciously offered to help because he knew that this would be a bit of a bigger thing than I would normally handle on my own. And we've got everything from that place is so unique. That Cheese Boutique is unique because they've got an ecosystem that they could just totally live on in their own. Everything that you're going to eat this weekend is coming
sourced
from Cheese
from
Boutique.
that block, that whole block, eh?
Whole block, top quality ingredients. We're doing burgers. We're doing pea meal. Throwback to or a hat tip to Toronto, a staple in Toronto. We're doing garlic Parmesan French fries for the Cheese Boutique. We're using their Parmesan Reggiano, like the good stuff that. Remember the stuff we got to see
are you serious?
In the cave?
It's the world's best cheese.
Yeah, the Cheese Cave stuff.
Cave
Parmesan. We get Cheese Cave Parmesan for your fry. It's going to be so good. Yeah, and you know what? We're excited. But I don't know if we're more excited than the Cheese Boutique. They are
really
pumped, and they are throwing everything at this for us. So we're going to have a good time. You're coming to an event that's going to be off the chain.
Off the hizzy?
Going
for show?
Let's not
shizzle. Why not?
Because Lachlan works with these guys. Doesn't want to spend this afternoon with them too.
It's exciting. They called us a couple months ago, and they're like, hey, we got this thing. And Ryan and I were talking about, like, relaunching Getting Sauce because he's fucking, like, there's no one better at barbecue. There's no one better at making food. I bring him over here all summer long, and I make him bring me food because it's like, fuck,
I brought you a barbecue
last summer. I'm like, can you cook on it too? He's like, oh, fuck, okay. But like it's time, right? Like it's time to stop talking about the bullshit. It's time to get away from some of the negative stuff. The garbage fighting and the culture stuff. And we want to feed everybody. So that's this weekend, Cheese Boutique. It starts on Saturday. It goes till Sunday. Yeah, dude. Well, we're bringing a guy out from Edmonton, so we'll make sure we send him back with some stuff. But I mean, talk about the ingredients, right? Cheese Boutique.
Who are you bringing out from Edmonton?
Army Chris is coming to film it. Yeah. He's filming the premiere episode of Getting Sauce for us. Yeah. He's doing all the film work.
So it's a big weekend this weekend. We've got the Cheese Boutique. We're going to go and feed a bunch of people. Big FoodTruck Takeover. I want you to all follow Ryan Lindley at getting_sauced as well.
Am I following Getting Sauced yet?
And we've got a new podcast coming out where Ryan's going to be going around talking to people. That was the impetus for this, right? Like you wanted to be able to take that passion, wrap it up into content, move away from all the bullshit, which we're all moving away from. And get into people's lives with food. Like let's talk about something that brings us all together.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It was becoming like it's just not sustainable. Like it was good. I think we were on the right side of history and the things that we were doing, but it's to the point now where
no one was on any right side. It was all a bunch of bullshit.
If you got
dragged into any fight at all, it was all bullshit, and you all should be embarrassed about it. Everybody should be.
We should all be embarrassed. Anyway,
I agree.
Let's let Ryan finish.
Thank you for repeating.
You should be embarrassed. Go ahead.
There's no fucking right or wrong. There did none of it. It's all bullshit.
I don't think I'll ever be a guest on this show again. No, I'm joking. Yeah, but it became like it was so you're having the same conversation over and over. And I equate it to if you're out on the street and you pass a guy that's standing outside of Jackson Square Mall screaming at the top of his lungs that Jesus is coming and the world is ending. How many times are you going to go back to him and argue with him that he is wrong? You might say it once, but if you go back every day to yell at that guy that he's wrong because you feel like you need, and people around you are clapping, yeah, you're right. We're all kind of doing this to stroke ourselves.
It's actually enough. And this isn't going to make me look, but we have a preacher that does a little thing on White Avenue, and I remember seeing him one day, and I actually thought to myself, I'm going to go tell him every day that he has his head up his ass. And I actually planned it.
That's Twitter.
No, I was going to go up to him every day and go, no, you got your head up your ass, and get my car or drive by every day. And then I changed my mind because I had that realization that it was pointless.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Anyway.
It's even, and I find it was even more pointless. And it's funny when you look back on it. It's even more it's like I feel sorry because it's almost like it's a compulsion in certain people that tag like Pierre Poilievre and Justin Trudeau in every single tweet that they put out, and it's like they think that they're listening to them.
Yeah,
They think they're reading the tweets that you're saying to them.
Are you talking about Lachlan
nobody
specifically right now? Because that's all he does all day long. That's all he does.
Elon Musk too. I love asking Elon Musk questions.
Well, he does sometimes though. He'll once in a while reply to some random people.
I love when you ask Elon Musk to come on the show to explain Twitter to you. That's my favorite. I'm like, oh, he really thinks he's listening. That's it. No, he did not at all.
I asked him one time.
So it's just back into what I like to do.
What's that? You asked him what?
I don't want to pay for this. Can I get a free one? Free blue check mark.
You know mine? I haven't paid for mine since November, and they keep giving it back to me. They keep taking it away.
I knew it was bullshit.
Back on.
Yeah, it is. And now you can do the thing with Twitter because so many people are so embarrassed by the fact that when you click on their blue check mark, it says this person paid for this shit. Now there's an option. No word of lie. Did you hear this, Locke? Last week they introduced an option where you can hide the check mark.
You can hide the check mark, but you still show up in the verified side.
No, you don't show up verified. You do have the check mark. They know you're paying for it, but people are so embarrassed because they're getting run off of Twitter with like, whatever, douchebag, you paid for this check mark. You're illegitimate, that they're so pissed off. Now they're so angry that they're like, I don't want people to see it because it's like, unless it's a legacy account or you got it like right away when they decide to verify.
Those are going away too.
Although mine is verified.
I have found
they're taking away
my Twitter
the
for whatever reason has been way more potent. Like I send stuff out now and it gets thousands of views. Like, and I don't remember that being the case a year ago.
Are you sure it's not just because they put the views on the main screen so you can see them and you didn't know how to check your analytics?
Pretty sure, like I'm getting way more like interaction on my page for whatever reason. I don't know why.
Well, you're famous. You're a big deal.
No, I'm not though. Like
huge.
Anyway.
Back to basics. What you to answer your question. I was doing this in the past and it was good. It was successful. We had a nice little following. We did some charity things. They usually raised a couple grand for charities and stuff. It was really fun. But I wanted now with one of the byproducts of doing what we were doing here was learning how to do this properly. And I've always been a big fan of guys like Anthony Bourdain. And I always thought the way he's told a story, you could listen to that show without even having the screen on. Like you'd have they literally put his last show out on as a podcast, a CNN podcast without video because you don't need it because the way he tells the stories is just it paints a picture for you. So and I thought Canada's never had anything like that. We've always had like the come dine with me's and the what's that guy that goes around? You got to eat here, but they're all fast paced, carnival food bullshit, this and that. We've never had somebody to actually slow it down, get the nice scenery shots, get the witty, sarcastic voiceover work every once, like just something a little more refined, I guess, that would translate into a podcast as well as a cool visual. So that's the plan for Getting Sauced. and that's kind of where we're aiming it. And we're gonna our premiere episode will be what we do this weekend at the Cheese
we've
Boutique.
got we're gonna capture the whole thing. We're really excited. It is this weekend, the Food Truck Takeover, the Getting Sauced Food Truck Takeover, Saturday, April 1st, Sunday, April 2nd, 11 a.m. until you're sold out. Cheese Boutique is at 45 Ripley Avenue, Toronto, Ontario. All the information you can find it at getting_sauced on Twitter. You can also find it at crier.co, where we've written a few articles, a few blog posts about this. The Diner Burger, Hogtown Pea Meal Sliders, triple cooked gar par fries, and Ashley's famous butter tarts, no THC. Weren't allowed to. I asked. They said no. There's a burger.
Wow.
Look at that diner.
That's the
Fuck
Diner
off
Burger.
already.
Yeah.
Look at the Diner Burger. Seriously. Yeah. Not only the Diner Burger, there's the butter tarts. Lock. Suck on those a little bit. I know you want to.
I love butter tarts, man.
Yeah, me too.
That's kryptonite for me.
And I don't know if Lachlan knows the story of why these are so big here.
The pea meal. I no, I have no idea about the pea meal thing.
Well,
even our next guest, who Dean's about to introduce, brought it up before we got on, and he was like, "Why? What is it with the pea meal in Toronto?" Like, yeah.
Well, what we wanted to do, because Lachlan has friends in high places, he's got other pitmaster pals. One gentleman who's made a go of it, of his brand, from Edmonton, Alberta, is a guy named Mel Schmiller. Dark Side of the Grill is where you can find him. Lachlan has hooked up with him. He's one of those guys that drives around from country to country at the beck and call of people like, I don't know, Bert Kreischer, boom, his personal pitmaster. He's made a go of it. He's turned this into a career, and I'd love to have him on the show to pick his brain. Oh, look, he's here. Please welcome Mel from Dark Side of the Grill, ladies and gentlemen. There he is.
Da, 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 da. How we doing today, boys?
Thanks, Mel.
Awesome.
Thank you guys very much for having me on.
You know what you need behind you is a little more
Thanks
booze.
for coming.
Yeah, I do that. That's not all of it. Trust me. This is the man cave. You need to be
How I know
well-oiled.
you're not an alcoholic, by the way, is that stuff is on your shelf and not in yourself.
Oh, I have a feeling.
I keep
I
it
have
up
a
high
feeling
so the
that
little guy
Mel
can't
takes
get it.
numerous trips to the corner. His recycling is heavier than most.
So, if you guys want to hear the truth about this, most of these are pretty hard to find up here. I don't know. You guys have the LCBO or whatever you call it out there, but out in Edmonton, it's really hard to find good bourbon. These are like 3 and 4 bottles at a time in my suitcase every time I come back from the States. So it's super easy to collect when you're.
Yeah, the Elijah Craig is like, what is that, 100 proof? That's one of those ones that'll put hair on your chest, right?
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I prefer them. I prefer them up there.
50%.
So
do you really?
I do 109, 112.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
go
it.
big or
baby.
go home.
Well, no,
Dean.
because
Come on.
so a pitmaster will know we have no taste buds. We're always in the hot sauce. We're always smoking cigars. We're always sipping on bourbon. This is why everyone smokes Maduros, heavy Maduros, and drinks bourbon straight, because it's the only way you're going to taste it. So
So
you gotta feel it.
Literally, when your face is in hickory and mesquite all day long, like it doesn't even. Yeah, it's.
Are you like me? Are you like me when you're smoking like a brisket? You're there, 16, 17 hours. Are you like me, where by the end of the cook, you don't want to eat it?
I don't.
You'll
This
wait for
is
tomorrow.
He had a good chuckle about it, man. It's If you're cooking all day long, you will catch me catering an event for, say, 600, 700 people. Heavy day, smoking the night before, right through the whole day, serving, doing everything. And then on my way home, all I'm looking for is an A&W for 2 teen burgers. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And people are paying $50 a plate, right? And you're like, you couldn't pay me more to eat one of those. Like, I don't even want it. Like, it's crazy. So
quite a vote of confidence for your cooking. That's nice.
Oh, exactly.
He didn't eat when he brought his barbecue down to the radio station on Friday.
I'm not. I know, but like I get it. Like he's over the stove all day. I think it's like everybody, right? It doesn't matter what you're cooking, but barbecue is so olfactory oversensitive that you fucking get in there. Anyway, this brings everybody together. Really glad you guys are here. How did you guys meet Locke? As I understand it, he brought in barbecue and was freaked out by Jimmy, the little person. Is that not? What do we got here? How did
I'm
you
the
guys meet?
leprechaun. I'm the leprechaun. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, exactly. That's the one right there. He bit me. He bit me. On air, he bit me. And he was doing stuff under the table I couldn't even see because I couldn't get at him. I'm trying to keep facing the camera. That was, Yeah, just like that. Exactly. He should be in a net. But whatever.
So, so Mel, I've sort of, we know Mel because he's famous in Edmonton.
Yeah.
Mel he's one of the more well-known cooks, barbecuers, and he's just gotten more and more momentum. I think it was about 6, 7, 8 months ago. Grant brought Mel up to me and said, "You got to follow this guy's account. He's on Instagram, and you should see the shit this guy's cooking. It's insane." And so quite often Grant and I will sit there during the show and watch like barbecue videos and things like that, stuff on YouTube. And Mel is one of our guys.
Dedicated to their craft.
So Bert comes to town a couple of weeks ago. He's doing a show at the Jube.
Bert Kreischer.
He had a Friday night show in Edmonton, and then he had some shows in Calgary. And we couldn't get tickets. I did one of those, I'll wait till the last minute to buy them to see if I can get them on the Friday. And of course, you can't do that with Bert's shows anymore. He just sells out instantly right away. So I kind of got screwed out of going to the show. Whatever. It's my own fault. We're talking about Bert Kreischer on Monday morning, and Grant goes, "Did you fucking see who ended up at Bert's show? He catered the show." And he goes, "Mel, Dark Side of the Grill." And I'm like, "Holy shit, that's unbelievable! What a great story!" And also, Mel was rolling with I think he's a former Edmonton Eskimo. Is it what's your buddy's name?
Justin Renfro. He's still on the list.
Is he still on the squad? Okay,
yep.
So I wasn't sure if he was still on the team. I know he played last year. So he's
I'm on
Edmonton
the team. They just signed me as their quarterback.
Exactly.
Everyone's on the team. Yeah.
So anyway, and there's a picture of Mel on his page with Bert. They got their shirts off. That's a Bert thing. So I'm like, oh, I got to send Mel a note. So I emailed him that morning and I said, "Mel, you got to come by and you got to do some barbecue for the locker room and we'll have you on." And he literally emailed me back about 30 minutes later. We planned it out. We did barbecue tips for beginners all last week. So we did a hit every morning at the same time. Mel came on, we did video pieces of it, and had a quick little chat. And then on Friday, he came down and fed us. And, oh, man, he brought enough food for about 25 people because the whole building ate. Our whole staff ate.
Oh, you bring barbecue, they all show up.
So anyway, and it was unbelievable. It's the best barbecue I've ever had. And Mel,
what'd you have? Was it brisket? Or was it burgers? What was it? What do you got?
It was brisket. It was pulled pork. It was chorizo. I don't know what you did with the chorizo, but that was amazing because it was still kind of a little bit spicy. And then the thing about Mel that I like is he's a barbecue guy, but he's also a chef, right? Like he wants the experience to be full. So there was other fixins.
You got a chef background, like you're trained as a chef.
No, I'm a journeyman welder up in the oil field. So
fuck, I love you so much right now.
Yeah,
he quit all that just to do this full time. So now he travels around the world and he's a fucking barbecue guy, right? Right. You don't do as many competitions anymore.
That's
you were saying when we were interviewing you on Friday, right? You're more.
If I do, I'm helping out friends. Like I'll jump on a team and I'll go help them out and push their brand, whatever I can do. It's building a team now for myself and having to rig out and get the trailer and everything else. It's too much with how much I travel and how little I'm home already. So it just doesn't make sense. But I'm still at Memphis in May. I cook the VIP in the barbecue alley every year. American Royal, we placed 14th with Prairie Smoke and Spice, Rob Reinhardt. We walked the stage with that. It's been just deadly. Just been a ride, man.
Well, no shit.
Awesome.
I mean,
he's got to get into the story about why he did it, though. Like, this is unbelievable.
Well,
like, I love it.
I want to start at the beginning, and then I want to work that way because Ryan's got an interesting origin story, too, because he's like one of those guys that decided, hey, I fucking love this, and I want to do this. And for everybody, the jumping off point is different, right? What was yours, Mel? How did you get into this? And when did you decide to say, hey, fuck the world, the real jobs, I'm going to go do what I love?
So literally, just like that. A welder since I was like 17 years old, 16 years old. I grew up in my dad's garage building hot rods, so small hands could fit in hard places, learned to weld. Ended up in the oil field. Everybody in Alberta, there's no rest for the wicked out here. So giving her like that. And my background is cooking, Ukrainian and Danish, right? So I grew up in Bubba's kitchen and always, making pierogies and making sauerkraut and rain barrels and all kinds of stuff.
Fuck yes.
So I took to barbecue right away because Alberta's beef, right? Everything we have is just big slabs of beef. And I was the only guy in my whole crew of guys that bought a house at 18, right? So I was living in Millwoods, which is like the hood for Edmonton, with a house. CKY had just came out, so we didn't have any doors in the house. We had a hot tub in the dining room. It was like a welder's bachelor pad, right? And that was the deal, was you show up with a case of beer and a bag of meat, right? And I'll cook it, and we all hang out. And this is so barbecue for me just became, part of drinking and hanging out and having fun, right? Yeah. And it was awesome. So a few of the guys I would work with in other plants or say, at the welding shop, and they were like, why don't you cook lunch for the safety guys or whatever? So I started talking to management, and I would start wherever I was working, cooking the lunches for all of the people, right? So Finning, you got like 300 people. It became quite a big thing. And it was like 2 days off from welding to cook, and everyone was happy as a clam about it. So it just made sense, right? And this was 2018, I guess. A kid from the back that worked in the wash bay, I saw him taking pictures of the dish that he had piled, brisket and everything else. And I walked up to him. I'm like, what are you doing? I've caught you a few times now. Why are you taking pictures of this? He's like, I'm on Instagram, and every time I post pictures of this, I get followers. And I was like, Instagram is for 16-year-old girls, man. What are you talking about? So I went on there. 3 months later, I had 4,000 followers, and it just took off like wildfire. All of a sudden, Big Green Egg from the States reaches out to me because I was cooking on a Big Green Egg. And they're like, hey, we want to bring you down to Atlanta, and you can cook with some of our pros, and we'll see how you fit and whatever. And that first trip to Atlanta, my first time in the United States, they signed me. And ever since then, it's just been an absolute steamroller. It's been wild.
Yeah. For someone who thought
this story,
I did
No
too.
kidding.
Fucking awesome. For someone that thought that Instagram is for 12-year-old girls, I just went and had a look at your account. You have now almost 127,000 followers on Instagram.
Yeah. It's
like,
been
that's
wild.
fucking unbelievable. So maybe not for 16-year-old girls. No?
This is as soon as it started turning into finances, I was like, hold on, I got to take this seriously, right? And then when I was making just as much at side gigs as I was almost a monthly paycheck, all of a sudden, when the big man comes down and he's barking at you and you're tired and you're covered in dust and you're like, you know what, dude, I don't really have to take this anymore. You know what I mean? And it just kind of, and it was wild. Like it was a weird transition, but when you get that little bit of fuck you money in your pocket, you know what I mean? Like you make that jump pretty quick. And
Yes,
when I walked out of there, it ended up Christmas party, right? And the owner of the shop comes over to me. He's like, hey, great Christmas, whatever. Just so you know, you've used up all of your holidays for next year. And I was like, it's a tough one. And I'll shit or get off the pot moment. And he just kind of looked at me, and I'm like, well, it was nice working with you. And you should have seen his face, man. You should have seen his face. And that
awesome.
Like, you can't write that, right? Like and like my heart was in my stomach because I was walking away. I've got a small family. I've got you know what I mean? But I was like, motivational videos, and they're like, yeah, and then you're free, right? It's crazy until you jump off a cliff, right? But it worked.
Did you shit your pants though? Like when you made that moment? And by the way, first of all, good call, because the boss bringing up your vacation time at a Christmas party is a dick move.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's when fuck, this guy's an asshole. I'm out of here. Yeah. But were you freaking out? Like when you finally leapt, were you all right, I got to make this work? Because then you got to fucking do it, right? Then it's not about just talking to people. Then you got to go on the offensive, which it looks like you have. So what is that? 5 years ago. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, for like a month. I just myself, I was worried about whatever, the whole positive thinking thing.
We're losing his audio. Is there any way we can maybe fix that, Dean? No.
You got
I
that?
don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
No.
Because he was fine.
Yeah. You're good. We've got just a couple audio issues there. If you want to switch to Chrome, are you using Chrome or are you using Safari? What are you using over there?
Chrome.
Maybe get him back. Go boom boom, in and out, and then we can keep going with them.
Yeah, just pop out and hop back in again. See if that fixes your audio, Mike. Yeah. Because you were flowing. I like that. I hate when our fucking audio issues happen.
But we were fine at the beginning. Yeah. No issue.
I'm not going to figure it out today.
Yeah.
I don't know what the issue is. We're going to fix his audio. He's going to come back in. But that's what I'm talking about for you, dude. Linz, this is what I'm talking about. Like,
I know.
This is the opportunity of a lifetime. Food truck this weekend. You've made all the food. You're the best cook / chef I have ever met in my life. And he's basically telling you what's going to happen to you over the next 5 years. And I believe it. It's going to happen. People are going to come around and give you barbecues, and you're going to show up. You're probably going to go to Prince Harry's place. You're going to barbecue for him and Meghan Markle. That's the way it works. That's how it always works. You got us there, Mel? Can you hear us?
There's a 6 degree of separation between the Cheese Boutique and Meghan Markle. So I don't know. That could always be a thing. You never know.
I think it will.
When we get Mel back, he does some interesting gigs. Like, he gets booked around the world and has traveled and done some really cool shit. He's got some interesting gigs coming up this summer. He was telling us about a trip to Australia. And he's also got he's also done some like interesting types of barbecues. I asked him, I said, because he uses the big green egg. The big green egg, and that's his go-to barbecue.
Smart.
And yeah, he loves that. But now he does, if you watch his videos on Instagram, you just look up Dark Side of the Grill on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. You can give him a follow. The interesting thing about him now is he does a lot of like open flame type stuff now, right?
Yeah.
And
actual barbecue. Yeah.
And I'm like, why would you do that? And he goes, it's because of we should let him tell it, but I'll let him tell it if we get him back and we can actually hear him properly. But it's interesting to see how his career has not only grown so quickly, but evolved into what it is. And you could almost follow this timeline on his Instagram. I've watched all his videos. They're awesome. But he was he was telling a story about cooking an alligator.
Yeah.
Like now he's trying to do different cool shit, right?
Well, and that's it. With travel and with experience comes, you get tired of cooking ribs and briskets all the time. And it happened to me. Yeah. I burnt out on it as well. I actually wrote an article once. I'll repost it about, I gave up on ribs once because I was so sick of it. The family was so sick, like, oh, ribs again. And I just didn't care about this piece of meat. I threw it on the smoker. I put salt, pepper, and a little bit of garlic on it. No sauce, nothing, just left it. Because I was like mad. Like, I was so sick of doing this. It was the best rack of ribs I'd ever eaten in my life. Yeah, so I learned, you learn as you go. And then as you get tired of it, you look for new opportunities to learn. You look for new methods. You travel, you get to see everything, right? That's why I always looked at a guy like Bourdain as an inspiration, because he went everywhere, saw how everything was cooked everywhere. It's an endless supply of idea is surrounds us in this world when it comes to culinary arts. You'll never reach the bottom.
It brings everybody together too, like food, meat specifically. Like if I'm with a group of guys, Mel's back. I think you can hear us, right, Mel? You're there.
Yes, I can. Yeah.
Oh, fuck, you look and sound like $1 million.
There we
go. But listen, is this not like any group I'm in? If I go, like, let's say I go to my kid's baseball game or I go somewhere, and there's a new group of men there. You know what? I've got two go-tos when it comes to starting conversation and endearing myself to groups. One of them is, where do you guys get your meat?
Yeah. Yeah.
Seriously.
Yep. Everybody's got a
like,
guy.
Ooh, yeah, really. Well, who's your guy? Oh, I got this guy. What do you got? How much are those wings? Where do you get your people? All that other stuff. Like, and barbecue. Both of those things. If you're ever in a group, that's why it's the great unifier. Barbecue might even save the world, because when you're in front of a guy, or you're at a rib roast, or you're at a rib fest, or you're at a barbecue, and and there's a bunch of people, and you're tasting meat, and it's fucking delicious because they do it so much better than you do it at home, and that's why you go to those things. Nothing else matters in that moment.
Nope.
Not vaccines, not masks, not government, not politics, not
It's
PR, nothing, right? Like, that's what I love about Mel's story, and that's why we're going to be leading the charge with Ryan's Getting Sauce brand to get through the shitty times that we've just been through. But it's fucking amazing because it doesn't matter who you are, every man, and I know there are women out there, and I'm not being misogynist, but every man likes to fancy himself as a bit of a pitmaster, right, Mel? Like, that's kind of the thing.
100%.
I know I'm an asshole on that thing. I'm so bad at barbecue. It's not even funny.
Well, you
asshole.
just need tools. You know what I mean? Like, it's always, I've always said
patient either. Like, I'm not patient for the barbecue. Which
I have no patience.
Zero.
Yeah, I actually Mel and I went back and forth, talked about an idea about doing something here this summer, maybe having him do regular hits or whatnot. But I want to talk to him about it. But I think we should, because I think it would be entertaining. I should bring Mel over to check out my barbecue. I mean, he would be mortified.
Yeah, I would do that as an episode of Getting Sauced, actually, and say we bring the expert over to evaluate Lachlan's.
Oh, it's just the worst. It was the floor model at Canadian Tire.
Yeah. When you called me about Mel. Yeah, when you called me about Mel, you're like, I don't even want to tell him about my barbecue because this is his barbecue. Look at that shit.
Yeah.
Look, when your barbecue has fucking tractor trailer tires, you're a fucking pitmaster.
Yeah,
Seriously.
dual axle.
If your barbecue looks like something they'd send to Ukraine to defend against Russia, you're doing better than me.
I'll tell you, you've got best of both worlds, Mel, because you were a welder. I know a lot of guys that have built their own custom rigs because they're welders and they have the rigs in their garages and stuff, and they'll go find an old utility propane tank and just cut the shit out of it and mount it to a trailer like that trailer of yours, and it's custom and it's the best barbecue you ever eat. Comes out of stuff like that.
That I hand built that one. That's Elvira. I built her in the welding shop right before I walked out of there. So
I love you
because I needed a crane, man. I needed a crane. It was
Did you steal some stuff on your way out too? Did you steal some of the tools, the materials?
We're not talking about that.
Okay, no, never mind.
We filled it up with equipment when we drove it out, man. That's
It's gonna barbecue a few torque wrenches.
That's it.
No big deal.
That's it. It's the Alberta way, baby. That's it.
How did you? Okay, so how do you get business now? And how did the fuck did you become Bert Kreischer's favorite barbecue guy? Like, how does that work? Because you're buddies with him now, right? Like, and here's the thing: famous people, they want to be friends with two different kinds of people: athletes, barbecue guys. Cooks. It's seriously, it's just the way it works. How did it work with you and Bert?
So, first of all, one of his producers was trying out like a spoof Instagram account called the Steak King. Mm-hmm. And he started following me and we were chatting back and forth. And then all of a sudden it came out that he was a producer and whatever. And I mentioned Bert and started talking. And he had been over there, I guess, and mentioned me. And that opened the door, right? And then who joined his team was Dave Williamson, who's a comedian that toured with Bert a lot of the time. And he does barbecue. And me and Dave hit it off separate from Bert. So then there were a few people at Bert's house talking about what I was doing, whatever. So I get this call one day, and he had been watching my stories, and I had not known this or anything. And he called me with the camera, and I was sitting in the hot tub, and he's like, I fucking knew you'd be in the hot tub. I knew. I'm like, every day I go in the hot tub, have a cigar. That's my shtick. I love, that's my office. Mental whatever, this is where I go, minus 40 plus 40, I'm out there having a cigar, just getting in the zone. So then he did this a couple, right, where he'd check it out, whatever, and it was totally organic. It was awesome. So then Dave said, hey, I'm going to be touring with Bert in Atlanta. I saw that you're in Atlanta. How do you feel about coming down? We'll get you some VIP tickets. I'm like, one better. Why don't I bring food? So I was actually in Atlanta cooking a class with Big Green Egg. So I had 200 people sold out cooking a class. And I was like, I grabbed the man in Egg that I'm pretty close with. And I'm like, you want to go to Bert Kreischer with me tonight? He's like, are you fucking kidding? Like, it's sold out there at the Atlanta Stadium. Like, hey, we need to skim some food out of here. So what we did was we're teaching a class while they're cooking the food. We're packing it into Cambros and we're sneaking it off in a cab to go to Bert Kreischer's concert and then cater it. It was deadly. So we rolled in there. We had porchetta, we had corn, we had brisket, we had like just the whole. And he was like, "This is where I met Uncle Coco, who's insane. He's exactly how you figure he is." Walked in there, swore at everybody, grabbed a handful of brisket, said, "Nice fucking brisket," and walked out. That was it. And I was like, "This is holy." He may as well have shook my dick. Like that was exactly what I needed to see right there. It was just wild. So then after that, the door was open, right? And it's. Yeah, so Bert's show, Something's Burning, has been shut down for a couple of years now. So he's just now getting that back up, and I'm on the list to get on there. So he actually has a big green egg in his backyard next to his pool. So I'm going to go down there and cook with him on Something's Burning and do whatever and cook on the egg. It's going to be just deadly. But yeah, it's
awesome.
So are you guys buddies now? Like, have you become friends and gotten to know him a little bit?
Not close or anything, but like as proud as I can be, you know, like if I send him a message, he'll bounce back. He's promoted my hot sauce like 3-4 times now. So
I think he's a good guy right now. I mean, we talked about this. He's a genuinely nice person. He is famous, but it took him a long time to get to that level. And now he's like we were talking about his shows, they sell out instantly. So, and you talked about how like approachable he is, just hasn't changed him.
After his show, he had to leave to Calgary. All the crews running around, all the talent, everybody, because he had a pretty big lineup. They were all rushing around. We sat down on a picnic table and had a cigar together. And it was just wild, like surreal, man. Just talking, you know, and having a cigar. And his manager, people were coming up and they're like, "Okay, we'll give you a minute, whatever." Yeah, it was wild, man. It was really surreal. And is he
as nice as we want to think he is?
He is more than that. He's actually more than that. And that's the thing. Like he's you know, he had 2 bears, 1 cave. He brought my hot sauce on there. He for sure
that's awesome.
Did not need to do that. And he had it on the table and everything. Like it was wild, man. I'm blessed.
It's
absolutely
surreal.
blessed.
Yeah. It's a surreal feeling for sure.
Yeah.
By the way, can I just jump in? You gave me a bottle of this on Friday.
Yep.
I've put this on like 3 meals since you gave it to me, and it's fucking amazing.
Yeah, man.
It is so good. I like it because it's not too hot.
That's his
you
sauce?
can still taste
it.
That's he works with Mel works with
Heartbeat hot sauce
out of Thunder Bay here in Ontario.
But this is your recipe though, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's totally my recipe. So that is hot pot inspired. I'm a big fan of hot pot. I do a lot more than barbecue. So I'm into, you know, octopus and squid and gators and everything. Like I love everything. So how that came about was I was cooking hot pot all day while I was smoking beef ribs. Beef ribs are almost like a brisket. It took forever. They were huge, thick beef ribs. Yeah. And the last thing in the world I wanted to put in my mouth was like a pastrami beef rib, but I have to do content, right? I have to shoot content. So I'm getting lined up, bite and whatever. And I've got this cold, old pot of hot pot broth sitting there that like it's had lamb, it's had shrimp, it's had scallops, it had all kinds of shiitake mushrooms and super spicy, right? And it's cold now. It's almost like jelly. And I took that beef rib and I dipped it in there. And then I did a bite for the camera. And after that, I was like, holy shit. This is amazing. So I broke down from that. And I was like, dude, for people that don't want to eat the brisket they just cooked, throw a splash of that on there. It's mint, goes down the gullet, like no problem at all. And everyone's just been super supportive of it. It's exactly what it needed to be. So
that's my you just described my pork rub. So when I make a pork rub, I kind of it starts with the basics, you know, and then I made another one that's similar to it, but it was for something else. But now I'll just dump it into that bucket of pork rub. And then, so at the end of the day, nobody knows what's in my pork rub. I don't even know what's in it, but it's really good. So Dean's had it. I've given him a couple of bags of the dry stuff that I've made for him. But
well, this is when you're cooking the time, it's just things. You can't even help it. Like things evolve. You can't stop it.
I don't even want to show you. Like we have one pantry in our house that is just dry goods of spices and powders and dry herbs and rubs, and I've always been a proponent ever since I started was stop buying commercial crap from like chain restaurants that put a label on something. Always buy from people like you, people like me. Make your own at home. I'll show you how. And that's kind of what Getting Sauced was, right? So
I love it, man. This is so my maple syrup has run dry, but we did buy a shit ton of black market maple syrup out of Quebec before that dried up. We were very happy about that, man. It was
syrup
fantastic.
Nice.
and Americans are like, oh, we love our maple syrup. I'm like, you don't know maple syrup. This shit was stolen. You don't even understand how quality. This is like,
is there? Hold it. You do know there's a maple syrup mafia, right?
Yeah. No, they believe me, they're machinists out here. They're very rude, and they have the best maple syrup you've ever had in your life.
That's awesome.
I'm just
so
saying.
How does one? Not that you have to tell me how you ended up stealing maple syrup from the maple syrup
I didn't
cartel.
steal anything. They
just bought it.
They've got their own pipeline, man. That's straight out of Gatineau or wherever that is.
No, but like they take it fucking seriously. They're under lock and key maple syrup.
Yes.
Like
Dude,
Canada
there's a
has
registry here.
maple syrup store.
You
Like
heard
a
about the
storage
heist, right?
No. What's the heist? Was it you? Was it your guy?
No.
I'm just checking.
You didn't hear? There's like $50 million in maple syrup went missing.
Yeah.
From the Bureau of Maple Syrup of Canada.
Yeah.
And it was the French bikers or whatever were filling the barrels with water and stealing the maple syrup, and then it all came back west. So
you remember Breaking Bad? Remember when they tricked them?
Yeah.
They tricked them with the train car. They put the water in and for the weights. It's exactly the same thing happened with maple syrup in Canada.
It did. So for like 3 years, Alberta had the cheapest, best maple syrup on the market, man. It was crazy, man. It was.
So wait a second. So some bikers stole 50 million in maple syrup, and they've been hawking it out west. Is that the?
Do you guys not get news in Toronto? You guys are all You guys are so focused on those masks and triple masks and helmets and stuff. You guys are
not food guys, Mel.
Really
they're not food guys. This is on the top fold for us. This isn't on the top fold for these guys.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
No, I want Mel to explain it. Yeah,
you guys need to go. One of you needs to grab your phone and just Google Canada maple syrup heist, and you're gonna shit a brick.
Canada,
this is a real thing, man. It's massive.
I'm doing it right now.
And it's not even the first time it's happened. That's the best part. Like that thing's been knocked off a few times.
Someone qu'est-ce que c'est? Je ne sais pas. That's it, and then it happens again, and you're like, "What? Come on!"
Canadian. The great Canadian maple syrup heist. There was one in 2011 and another one in 2012, and then there's another one 3 years ago. Is that correct?
Yes,
that's correct.
It's a real thing, man. It's a real
Canada's
thing.
maple syrup. Okay, yeah, here you go. This is in the Guardian, dude. Where the fuck have we been? In the
I've
news?
never heard of this.
This is from the Guardian in America, Australia, New Zealand, London, England, not in Canada. This is the headline. Canada's maple syrup heist thief must repay millions for sweet stolen goods.
This is hilarious.
Yeah. Richard Valliere, that was the gentleman's name, had a plan to make millions of dollars deceptively. He was doing exactly what my man Mel, he's refilling these, and there's a whole bunch of fucking bins sitting here, and there's like there's a bunch of water in the bins, and they stole 80. Canada controls, just so you know, 80% of the world's maple syrup supply. Yes. You fucking beauties.
We own it.
Dude.
Well, and Mel has a couple of barrels in his garage, apparently.
We don't talk about it, but I won't be out of maple syrup for a very long time. So,
I'm telling you, man, barbecue, especially Canadian barbecue, it relies on good maple syrup. So it's smart to invest in that.
A whole pork loin, when you serve a whole, like that Costco $25 whole pork loin, when you inject it and brine it and then glaze it in maple syrup with a nice pork rub, and you serve that at a wedding, trust me, you're
getting laid.
Oh, dude, it's so easy. Everyone just goes nuts over it. It's money at that point. It's quite nice, like they were doing with the maple syrup. So
that's unbelievable.
That's all new to me. I had no idea. I had zero idea that there was like several maple syrup heists, and I just found out about the maple syrup cartel. And by the way, they don't like the cartel doesn't like talking about it. And there is also a milk cartel in Canada too. By the way,
Hey, what's on your bucket list, Mel, for barbecue stuff? I mean, when we had you on the locker room on Friday, you talked about barbecuing an entire steer. We had a picture of you earlier where you had a whole pig. I'm sure you've done 100 pigs. You did an alligator. You did a whole alligator at one point. You told
Like
that story.
Are
But
humans next? That's the question.
I'm not allowed to talk
Yeah,
about that. I've brought it up several times, loaded, and I'm not allowed to talk about it. A few people have stopped me right there. So
We're just meat, right? Like if you've done pigs and alligators,
everyone's like,
humans
you
are
should go to
really the
Europe.
next
I'm like,
logical step.
I can't go to Europe. You know I can't go to Europe. I'll cook a human. That's what's going to happen there. So.
Hey, we're the best people to have if a plane ever crashes. Just so you guys know, guys that know how to actually deal with proteins.
Yeah,
we're the ones that you want to keep around. We'll outlast everybody.
Man, I hate how Scott's been really negative about this whole plane crash. I'll take care of it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. That's it. We found some beans in the back. Now we've got chili.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. That's
check
it.
check the glove box for salt and pepper, guys. I need.
It's funny when he was on the show on Friday. I could see him eyeing up Jimmy. I knew he was sitting there thinking about how to barbecue that little bastard.
Look at him. He looks delicious.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Look at that little fucker. Looks really delicious. Let's smoke him.
Like a wee baby. That's
He looks like a turkey. You can smoke turkey.
exactly.
Yeah.
Fat little calves on them. Yeah. I saw it.
Okay, back to bucket list. What is your bucket? You've done alligator. You've done okay. Let's just put the humans over here for now.
Yes.
Sorry for bringing it up. I didn't know that was a life goal, but I like it. So what is it? Like where are you at? You've done a whole steer. What, like an elephant? Is there a rotisserie big enough for an elephant?
So in Argentina, I'm headed to Argentina in September, and I hope we're doing a bull. That is one thing on my bucket list is a whole bull. So in Argentina, they don't slaughter their cows young like we do. We do like 2 years, 3 years, and we hit them up. They'll let them go 15, 20 years. So you can get a bull, like an old bull, that still tastes unbelievable. So that's my goal is to have like the head and the horns on and still cook it. It would be wild. I
watched an episode of something once where they actually talked about the process of raising those bulls and how they are revered and they are just like taken care of. It's like a member of the family. And then it's a matter of like thousands and thousands of dollars in like tens of thousands of dollars over a lifetime of what they invest in that cow to get the meat out of it once it turns like that ripe old age, which is really antithetical to what we do here, right? So it's wild. It's a great thing to learn.
Oh man, in South America, the bulls have a huge hump on their back, right? So the Nelore species has a huge hump on its back, is totally soft. It's not like a muscle, and they have never exported it. So even when they break the animal down for export, that hump is gone. So there's some fat back Rosero somewhere that gets that hump like all the time, and that's one of my big, like I want that hump real bad.
You haven't had that before? Never,
I've never. No, because it's just there. They won't ship it.
Nobody outside of there has ever had it.
They don't allow it to leave because it's such a the cow. Yeah, the bull. Yeah. Is there something that you've barbecued where you're like, I'm not adding that to the menu? Like, have you failed ever?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Right?
Not really.
Come on, tell me about your.
To be honest, I hate hot dogs.
I fucking love this guy.
I fucking hate hot dogs.
You hate hot dogs?
I cannot stand hot dogs. They are.
Well, it's because you know how they're made.
That's it. No, and when you have such a huge list of things, I have 7 deep freezes, right? When I have such a list of things to cook on a Saturday afternoon, and the kids say they want hot dogs, I'm like, Wagyu hot dogs. I've got Wagyu, or do you want like Spalumbo sausage? I've got, like, let's talk about, I've got something in a casing that's much like a hot dog, and they just want like to go to the store and pick it out in front of me in spite, right? And carry it to the cashier, and then they want me to cook it. And then I've got a slot dog machine, which puts like cuts in it so you can put barbecue rub or whatever. And they're like, no, I just want it plain. And it's like, who are you?
Why would you do this to me?
Yeah, why would you do this to me? Make me do this. This is a, so
my oldest is a country music fan, and I've actually thought about drowning her.
Sorry about that.
No, these things happen. Yeah. And I think it might be
okay. They do a sign of how she was raised.
In Alberta, we might have a bylaw that you're okay there, actually.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, they might. I don't know, dude. I just think it's fascinating because like you're this dude, and it's like everybody. Like it's when you're a kid and I remember my dad bought a pool table.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck, this is great pool table. And I'm like, we'll go play checkers. And he's like, are you
Yeah.
fucking serious about your pool table? Nah, I'm not interested. It's too hard. I'm too short.
Mel, I once got drunk. My wife left me at home and didn't
way.
prepare meals for me. And I once got drunk and ate an entire 12 packet of hot dogs, but I didn't cook them. I ate them raw.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, people like you are psycho.
You're disgusting, is what you are.
This morning I had 2 pounds of head cheese with a jar of hot mustard.
Oh,
That was breakfast.
Okay.
It was finely crafted head cheese, a lot of garlic, huge pieces of pork in it, and heavy garlic. Heavy garlic. The Harry Hill hot mustard, an old Ukrainian farm, right, that makes their own handcrafted hot mustard, and that's
really
what I
good.
Nice.
Man, it's what do you do, right? What do
Nothing.
you do?
Nothing, dude. You make the rules. You're your own guy. The one thing I will say is that this is one of the reasons why I love you is when I looked up Dark Side of the Grill. Locke called me this week and he starts talking to me about you. And again, it's a rallying cry, right? Because we're all into meat, we're all into barbecue. I'm like, yeah, fucking bring them on. We'll match them up with Lynn's. We'll get the conversation going. We'll talk about him with Bert Kreischer. We'll talk about the great unifying experience of being able to do barbecue and cook meat, all that stuff. And but dude, the most impressive part of you, it's your fucking haircut.
Well, thank you.
I love it.
Thank you.
That is,
it's paid for.
I don't know if you call it a Kentucky waterfall. I don't know where you go from there.
Yep.
But you know what that says to me? When I saw a picture of you today and I was looking, I'm like, this guy is his own man. He doesn't give 2 fucks.
None
He's here to
whatsoever.
grill, fuck, and kill things. That's what
That's
he's here for.
He's
walk
almost
out-
done cooking.
Yeah.
Exactly. I walk out in Adidas shorts, like Adidas sport shorts, and like turquoise cowboy boots, and I don't care because it works. It just works. I've got a cigar the size of your dick in my hand, and I just like it. There's nothing you can say. I did that. I had half of the front lineup of the Edmonton Eskimos or the Edmonton Elks here in my backyard. All my neighbors were. So I live in like a very old neighborhood, right? So I've got 10 guys that are all 7 foot or bigger, right? And 400 pounds each, right? They're all listening to the Wu-Tang Clan as they roll in there. Every single one of them smoking a joint, right? So all the neighbors are like, is he getting robbed? Is there something horrible happening here? Right? We're cooking a whole lamb in the backyard over the live fire, and we're making lamb tacos for everybody, right? And this weed, it's so heavy, so dang. It's just, it is what it is, right? And that I did that just for a joke. I wore cutoffs and my turquoise cowboy boots just to see what they would do. And it was fucking hilarious, man. It was the best. Like, yeah, it was.
Yeah. And
they didn't stop eating. They didn't get, he sat there and trudged through it. Like it was.
That's the point. That's the point. And they'll make fun of you up to the point they put your food in their mouth and then they shut their mouth.
That's it.
And then
like having a guy. Like that's the thing. When someone feeds you good food and you know they're really good at it, it's like having a great accountant or a great mechanic. It's the same thing where you're like, that's my guy. I'm never going to insult him. I'm never going to piss him off. Like it's literally, dude, this is your key to life is feeding people, right? That's your love language, if you will.
The best way that I can explain this whole thing, this whole barbecue thing and my journey that I'm on now.
Yeah.
Every day is a party. Everywhere I go, people are waiting to see me and people are excited when I roll in. Mm-hmm. And from there on, it's an amazing day. It's an amazing night. It rolls into the morning. There's drinks, there's cigars, there's food. Every single day is like that. I'll wake up and I'll be on like hole number 1 of a golf course here in Edmonton, and I'm serving tacos to like the home builders. Mm-hmm. That's my job for the day. And every single one of them is liquored, and every single one of them is trying to buy me a Caesar or something as I'm serving them tacos, and that's my life now. And this is it's
fucking awesome.
It's hard for a lot of people. Like, man, I've built some haters. I've haters now because they just can't take. Like I was doing with Locke. We had a morning barbecue tip. I was in Central Texas, so I was in Comfort, Texas, right on the Guadalupe River, cooking live fire right there. And my Argentinian friend had Fabricio or Otoro. He was with the Spurs for, I don't know, 10 years. He won 2 championships with the Spurs. This guy, 7 NBA superstar, came with a bodyguard, right? Hanging out. And our whole thing was we're drinking wine in the morning and cooking. And the stories that this guy had from like France and Greece and all kinds of crazy. And he didn't give a shit. He's like royalty. And he's just sitting there talking to me mano a mano because I'm cooking.
Yeah.
And he's totally relaxed. In any other form, he would be talking business. He would be talking something. But in this case, in this place, we literally were talking about like man shit and just hanging out and smoking cigars and whatever. And it was like free. And it's always the people I meet that are, you know, very prestigious people will totally just throw that to the wind and get loaded. And I love that's just my favorite
it's
part.
the great unifier.
Thing.
It's the great unifier. Everybody's got to eat. Everybody's got to eat, and every single region of the world has barbecue or a form of barbecue.
That's it.
But what I love about Mel's story is that he took a chance. He took the unsafe route, right? He had the safe route.
He bet on himself.
Nailed that down, but he went for his passion and may have been pushed over the edge by that boss. And you know what? And down the road, you'll thank him for doing what he did, right? And that's what I love about this story is that he's doing something he absolutely loves, and just a bonus, you're unbelievable at it.
Yeah, thank you.
And no one takes a chance. We always take the safe route. We always hang in there, right? We'll do that job until we fucking die because it's bringing in the money, and then you end up. You're 65 years old. You're 70 years old. You spent your whole life throwing money at something you didn't want to do, right?
Yep.
And then all of a sudden you're sitting back looking, fuck, I missed this. I missed this. I missed this. You're not missing any of that shit. I love this story.
Well,
I love it.
There is a backstory to this, though, that like a lot of people don't see. So in my career, right? Once I started making it, once I started hitting it, a lot of people hit me up and were like, hey, what did you do to do this? Because I'd like to do this too. And what I did, I don't hold anything back. You could text me Christmas Eve and ask me how to cook a brisket. I'll answer. I'll tell you how I cook a brisket, or at least forward you to one of my YouTubes or something. But all of these people were like, tell me exactly how you hit it so that I can hit it. And as soon as you mention work an 8 to 10 hour, 12-hour day, come home, clean up, turn the camera on, start cooking, cook until 9 or 10 at night, right? And then you sacrifice like 90% to get that. And I did that for a couple of years. Now it's wide open. I can do it during the day. It's mint. But there was a time for like a good solid years that it was a grind. It was a hard grind. And thankfully, working the full-time job has helped this a ton, but like you have to put in the work, and no one is willing to. They always think it's easy, and they're always looking for the fast way out. And when they find out like this is what you have to do, most of them just chicken out anyway. So it comes with the territory. You know what I mean?
You know, it's funny because we're all wired the same, right? When we make a decision, we'll be like, this is going to work. I know it. And then when you'll go, I'm going to go get some information from somebody, or I'm going to ask somebody else how they're going to do it, how they did it. How did you do it?
Yeah.
And you go, it's a 2 to 3 year process. It's 10 to 15 hours a day. When you're done your stuff, you got to do your content. When you're done the content, you got to do it right. You got to feed the algorithm, and it's got to be consistent. They're like, do you have anything in the neighborhood of 3 to 4 hours a day?
Yeah, exactly.
And you're like, no, that's not how it works. It's not how it works. You got to pour yourself into it, right?
Yeah. No, and that's where I throw, well, you're already doing that. How's it working out for you?
Not great.
So yeah,
that's why they're asking you.
That's it.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's I was willing to sacrifice more. So
yeah. Wow, dude, I fucking love your story. Lynn's is in the same boat. You're a great story. I want to run the menu by you for the big weekend this weekend before we let you go, Mel. This is Ryan. Ryan, I'll let you take them through the menu. But just so everybody knows, Getting Sauced Food Truck Takeover. It's the launch of the Getting Sauced brand and podcast this weekend at the Cheese Boutique, 45 Ripley Avenue. Take us through the menu and go through it with Mel if you can. Lachlan and I'll just be hungry bystanders. Sorry.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I want all this.
Me too.
It's so you saw the pictures. So we're starting off with the actual diner burger, which is an 80-20 of chuck and brisket, and it's going to have this Getting Sauced seasoning to season up. It's just salt, pepper. There's no fillers in that burger either. It's just slap it on the flat top, and it's going to be a smash burger style. The Hogtown slider. The story behind that is Toronto is famous for its abattoirs, and it's literally called Hogtown for a reason. And it's because of pork processing plants that we've got a history there. So we're doing an in-house cured pea meal bacon slider with a maple horseradish mustard, which is the way they serve it at the St. Lawrence Market in Toronto, the historic St. Lawrence Market. And the Garpar fries, we just wanted to do fries, but we're like, well, we can't just serve just regular fries. So we're going to do, it's a Michelin-inspired triple cooked fresh cut fry with a Parmesan, garlic, and herb dusting on the top of it. And we got the green light from Pristine, who is the owner of Cheese Boutique and the only maitre fromager in Canada and the youngest maitre fromager in the world.
1 of 5 in the world, by the way.
Yeah.
1 of 5. Yeah.
Wow.
Cheese
And then-
professional, cheese expert.
And then my wife makes a killer butter tart, and I asked her, I said, can you make this a little more Canadian inspired, because we're doing the Toronto thing, and can we put some maple in it? So we got some legally acquired maple syrup and some pecans, and she whipped up a really good batch of those, so those will be available for sale as well. And yeah, we've had lots of people reaching out asking if there's vegan options, and my answer to that is yes. The vegan option is the cow that is in that burger was vegetarian, so yeah. So now that burger is technically vegan, so you can eat it. Yeah,
Oh my
and then
God, that looks so good.
Doesn't that look fucking awesome? We're looking at the pictures. People that are listening that don't have the pleasure of watching this on YouTube, Dean Blundell Show on YouTube, Crier Media on YouTube, or on Twitch, we're showing the pea meal bacon slider, which is, I don't even know how the fuck you did this, but it's like it's dusted with something that I want to eat right now.
It's pea meal. It's just straight up pea meal. The trick is you mix your oil, your griddle oil, with a bit of butter, so it gives it that nice golden, nutty. You don't burn it, but you get it nice and golden brown. But I always add extra pea meal to my pea meal bacon so that it gets that crispy just not on the edges. It goes on the entire piece of the meat. So, the buns, oh my God. So there's a bakery right on site at Cheese Boutique. So everything that you're getting on a bun from us that weekend is coming on a bun that was made that morning at the bakery that's right outside the food truck. So the sliders coming on a Kaiser, and the burgers are going on brioche buns, and they're going to be baked that morning for us.
Do we have anything like that in Edmonton, Mel, where there's a company that like will rent out their food truck and let you kind of go in and do your thing? That because the Cheese Boutique has this food truck in Toronto, and they came to Lynn's, and he said, yeah, I'll take it for a weekend, and he's going down there with a Red Seal chef, his brother-in-law. I don't think we have any options like that in Alberta, do we?
You know what? There's quite a few food trucks that are parked.
Yeah.
So I'm sure we could rattle something up, but
it's
a great idea.
That's a great idea. And I have to jump in here and just tell you guys a quick story about pea meal bacon.
Okay.
Because this is a big deal for me. So I'm from out west. I'd never been to Toronto in my life up until 2019. So I am good friends with Chef Ted Reeder. Ted Reeder is like a Toronto staple. If you guys don't know him, look him up.
Teddy Reeder, yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
He's my uncle. Me and him we're lock solid. Anytime he has an event out here, he calls me up. We do the same out there. It's a great time. He was the one that originally sent me to that Rainbow Diner downtown in Toronto, where I had my first pea meal sandwich. And I was so struck by that I got pissed off. I walked into the kitchen and I talked to the chef, and he wrote down on a napkin what was in the brine. And I took that back, and I don't sell it. I just make it for the family, but I was able to recreate that pea meal. Holy crap. Like I went on for, I think it was a year, maybe a year and a half, sick of seeing your posts about the damn pea meal bacon. I'm like, I can't stop. I won't stop. I need this all. I ended up, I don't eat sauces, like most sauces that you can buy from the superstore or whatever. I won't mess with it. HP sauce.
It is good.
All of a sudden, I need this HP sauce with the pea meal. It's mental. Like, I can't keep it out of my mouth, right? So this is, and like you're saying, you put extra pea meal in with, like, it makes sense. So those, as soon as I saw those sliders, like, I'm still drooling a little bit because I know exactly what you guys are in for. It's going to be deadly.
Yeah.
Oh, I love pea meal.
Yeah.
You know what? The price is like ridiculous, Linz.
Dude,
like your prices are really low.
Yeah.
$13 for like a fucking massive diner burger, $8 for the Hogtown slider, $6 for the Garpar fries, $2 for a fucking tart. If you're not eating, by the way, you're eating well, you're not spending a ton of money, and you're getting a real taste of what Toronto's all about. That was what I fucking loved about what Linz did with the menu, Linz.
I got in trouble with our guy Alex at Cheese Boutique a little bit yesterday, and my brother-in-law, because my brother-in-law does this for a living. He's an executive chef, so he costs for restaurants where he works. And there's always, like a 30%, and then you got your triples for profit margins. And the difference is we don't have a brick and mortar to support. We don't have staff to pay, so we're able to kind of like translate it back. But I swear, I'm trying to find the text that Alex sent me last night, and it was a picture of a menu from a diner in Toronto that's close to the Cheese Boutique that has a very similar menu, and they're asking the same burger that I'm serving $19.25 with no.
And they'll get it. They'll get it all day long.
They'll get it all day long. Yeah, absolutely. And it's just quality. It's quality meat, right? It's quality items, and that's the big thing here. Everything is coming. Everything's controlled by Cheese Boutique. Everything's coming from them. Yep. Their produce suppliers are top notch. If you go and you're there this weekend and you're walking through, go through the market and tell me it's not the freshest produce you've ever seen. Tell me it's not you've never seen mushrooms like this before. And I'm not talking like button mushrooms or shiitake. I'm talking weird mushrooms that you've probably never heard of. Magic. And they're fresh. And they're fresh,
I love the Toronto food scene, man. It is insane.
So good.
We did the smoke show with Dixon's Barbecue, right? And we were out on the pier. We did the whole 9 yards out there. It was crazy. 4 o'clock in the morning in your guys' like Central Square, like New York, right? Yeah. I met the Prince of Toronto. He was in a velour tracksuit with a bike. And he took me to all the places that were closed, but not closed. And we drank until the sun came up. It was nuts.
Yeah.
Did you go to the Matador? Did you go to the Matador? That was a very famous after hours bar in Toronto.
Quite possible. I went.
Yeah, yes,
but that's it.
Yeah.
He doesn't take notes.
For breakfast, I had ramen in a shop that was the size of a closet, and the stairs were like on an 80-degree angle. It was insanity.
Yeah. See, that's what I want to find.
Best ramen.
Yeah, that's what I want to find with this show, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for places that are off the beaten path. I want people to start steering away from the Colonel, the Clown, and the King. Just 100%. Try not to make those your go-tos all the time. Try something different. Get a little crazy. We live in Ontario, and that's where the show is based. And Ontario is a mecca for produce. For beef, we've got from the Niagara region, where it comes from wine country, all the way to Leamington, which is the produce capital of this country. It is incredible what you can get here. Haldeman for their farming, for meats. Like I have to compete with my own brain on a weekend to figure out which butcher I want to go to on a Saturday that is within 10 minutes of my house for a quality cut of meat, because they're both so good. We all have this in our neighborhoods. You just need to look for them. You just need to find it, and stop going to Metros or Fortinos or Superstores. And
it's insane that you guys would. It blows my mind that you guys would, with all the amazing places that you guys have. So the butcher's son, he's on Street. I don't know my geography too well, but the butcher's son, he does some crazy cuts. So anytime I do a show out there, I'll hit him up, and he will provide me some wicked cuts. But they're farm fresh. That they were hung for 28 days. It's exactly what he says it is, and cheap. It's not that bad. Like in comparison, you're not paying too much of a vig to get really nice cut. So you really have no excuse other than time, right? Take that extra time. If you're going to put that time in your meal anyway, then get off your ass. Go shop around.
That's it. And make it part of the process. Make it part of, get a coffee in the morning, get in the car, go to the places, check it out. Like these butchers that I go to, every one of them has some sort of a sale. So if you're looking for deals, usually their sale prices are better than a market, like a supermarket chain when they do have, and they have frozen section, they have all the stuff. Make it part of the process. You'll fall in love with it, and you'll find that the more you do it, the better you get at it, obviously, just like with everything. But this has such a cool dividend at the end of it, and that is feeding you, feeding your family, feeding your friends, and you just become enamored with it. It's one of my favorite things to do is cook.
When we had Mel on, he talked about barbecue and talked about the sourcing, and you could tell he has as much passion for the sourcing and finding stuff and cool ingredients as he does for barbecue, which I thought was interesting, because he was so expressive when he was talking about the preparation of the food and sort of the and I when we talked about you cooking on an open flame, I remember you talked about that being, the next evolution of what it was that you know.
It's romantic. It literally is romantic. And you also loved the idea of getting up and going and finding these cool ingredients and stuff, which I think is an interesting part of that, right? Of being a foodie, right? So a neat part about the market in Toronto, especially, is that they have such a blow up of cultural in every market that you can find pretty much anything you need in any of those sort of crazy markets that you go to. So the last time I went to Toronto, Reader did a barbecue night in honor of me coming, and he had a whole ticket sale thing and whatever. And his goal was to make all the barbecue people that show up angry. So he did. No, he's like the Bill Murray of barbecue. He's a wild animal, man. He's a deadly, deadly beast. So he did chicken nuggets, but when you bit into the chicken nugget, it was a whole chicken head, and he brined them in a ghost pepper vinaigrette.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So not only was it like beak and eyes and skull that you were biting, but it was properly broke down so you could swallow it, but it also had the kick right in your face, like of the heat, right? And his spot is on a golf course. He had these chickens that would walk around, and they had names. And we had a guy that was on acid that was feeding some of this chicken head to a chicken. And it just, like, the whole thing just came around in a beautiful way that you just need to be part of these things. You know what I mean? But like,
that's a beautiful story.
I'm just saying. So he spent 3 days sourcing like the crazy shit that he cooked to try and just piss everybody off, but also show his extent of culinary masterpiece. And he did. If you dig through my stuff on Instagram, you can see the whole cook. There was like 12 different dishes, and they were all wild, totally outside of the box. And he was like, there's no place that would pay me to do this. So today's my day to get people to pay me to do this. And it was just awesome. It was
Did you eat the chicken head?
I ate everything. I ate every single thing I could. Yeah, man. It's
If you haven't been to a Ted Reader barbecue, you haven't lived. Ted Reader is barbecuing during his barbecue. He might light one up. He's always got a little Cuervo with him, loves a little tequila, and he's one of those dudes he's like the way that you've explained, Mel, the way that you love about the party. It's just a nonstop party. That is Ted Reader's life every single day. And in Canada, and this is incredible. In Canada, there's this like super secret segment. It's like the maple syrup mafia. It's the same thing with pitmasters and barbecue guys. Lynn, you know this.
Yeah.
Where there's this like always this internal competition between you guys, but there's so much respect in the community for people who actually can do it really well that it's a lark. It's a prank, right? Like you guys all get together. What's that like? Who's the drunkest? Is it you? Is it the guy on acid? And where is this acid? And how can I get some?
Ted gets me with the jack. Gets me with the jack. Got a 40 or a 60, a jack hidden somewhere. We cooked for what was Locke? What is our premier?
Jason Kenny.
Jason Kenny. So we cooked for Jason Kenny at the Stampede. We cooked tomahawk steaks and the whole 9 yards. We had Anheuser-Busch, the owner of Budweiser. People came down for this event. And it was all closed doors. No one knew they were here. Jason Kenny showed up. I knew because there was cowboys with little weird like earpieces. And I was like, oh, who's here now? What's going on? And they're like, no.
Well, and Kenny was an assless chaps.
Oh, it was crazy. It was a
walking with
thing.
a limp.
And here, me and Ted have
mom.
been drinking. Me and Ted have been drinking since 7 a.m. Man, we just been partying the entire time. And he's like, shit, it's time to work. Like, let's smarten up here a bit. I'm like, dude, I'm already ahead of you. I saw the earpiece a couple minutes ago. And it's aw- and then 10 minutes later, they're gone. They're like, whew, that was wicked. Let's get high. Like, it was just awesome. That's it. I love that, man. That's what brought, like, literally, he took me under his wing in probably 2018. He saw something, and he definitely helped me culinary skill wise, definitely. And like mitigating the boss kind of side of this, which I had nothing to do with being a welder. So he definitely helped me a ton in that regard. The whole thing was a party. And he's like, dude, if a day sucks, then quit doing that day. Find something else. Just drop it and walk away. Like, today is your Friday if you want it to be. Just walk out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
I
crazy.
love you. I fucking love you, Mel.
It's
autonomy.
Yeah. Once and you actually live by it, like, nothing can stop you. Nothing can stop you. And
or touch you.
Exactly.
Or touch you. Yeah.
It's insane. It's insane. And people are they're too scared to grab that by the horns. But once you have it, it's actually a pretty easy ride, man. I hop from plane to plane in airport now, partying, literally. And people pay me to do it. And like, the harder I go, the more gigs I get. So yeah, I'm not lying. This is actually exactly what it is. So yeah.
Well, it's incredible because it's starting to open up and the timing's great. With the pandemic over, I'm not going to get into what that was like to barbecue during the pandemic.
I missed it. I was traveling, so
yeah, I'm sure you.
Well, that's what sparked what's happening this weekend at Cheese Boutique.
Yep.
Is they bought that truck in 2019 with the full intent of going around the city and doing events.
Yep.
Pandemic shut everything down, and they came up with a beautiful pivot because they were a grocery store. They were able to stay open.
Yeah,
the truck was parked out front, and they said, "You know what? Why don't we invite all the chefs in Toronto who are getting fucked right now because of this pandemic? Have them come down, take over the food truck, put it out on their socials, blast it out, let them know, listen, I'm back, I'm cooking, meet me down at the Cheese Boutique, and come and eat the food." And it exploded. And it became a destination spot in Toronto during the pandemic. We heard stories, Dean and I, we went, when we did our first show there, it became a hookup spot. It was a place for people to go, swingers.
Right.
Of all people.
Or Morgan's around. Yeah. Exactly.
They would go down, and if you were walking around on a Sunday afternoon in the Cheese Boutique with a baguette under your arm, that meant you were down. You were good to go. And
By
people
the way,
would.
I'm going there this weekend with baguettes stapled to me.
Yeah.
What does that mean when you have two, though? I don't know. You might be giving a different.
I'm good. It's
test the waters. Try everything twice.
Yeah.
Hello,
it's
sir. My Rottweiler's in the van. Come with me.
It's going to be fun this weekend. Don't forget, everybody, we are opening up the summer. Ryan Lindley's Getting Sauce podcast, Food Truck Takeover, the big launch this weekend, Saturday, April 1st, at the Cheese Boutique again, 45 Ripley Avenue, Diner Burger, Hogtown, Pea Meal Sliders, Triple Cook, Garpar Fries, Ashley's Famous Butter Tarts. That is this weekend. There's a couple pictures. You can have a look at those. Suck it up. Suck it up. I know you want it. I know you like it. You're going to get it. Oh, there it is.
I want that
and
pea
here's
meal.
the menu. Pea meal's like, dude, if you want to get my pants off, give me a pea meal bacon sandwich.
Locke, you need to get them to slice up a couple pounds, freeze it, and ship it over here. That's what we do.
We could do that. We could totally do that.
And then I'll have you. We'll find some way to hook up and cook that. Yeah.
You don't want.
I need to talk to you. I want to talk to you about doing some content with the locker room and Crier. We should go for a drink here sometime this week. You're heading out, aren't you?
Yeah, Friday.
Okay.
I'm gone again.
Who's next? What do you got?
Yeah, where you heading?
Going to Phoenix. I got my buddy's doing a book release, so we're cooking a bunch of stuff out of his book for that. Then I come back for a week, and then I'm gone to Tampa for a week. Another buddy's doing a book release, and then from Tampa I go to Australia for 2.5 weeks.
Nice.
Tell them about the Australia gig, because this is kind of cool.
So I got tapped in to go to Sydney, Australia to do something called Meat Stock. If you Google meat
for
stock,
fuck's sakes.
Shut up.
I believe they've sold 25,000 tickets already to this event, and I think they're trying to stretch for 30.
Holy
And
shit.
it's a rockabilly. They do car show with the rat rods. They do tattoos on site. They have a strongman contest, as well as every kind of barbecue you could ever think of. And Australia does it big. So it's going to be just nuts. And I'm going with Alfregoni. We got 2 huge platforms. I think I'm doing saltwater crocodiles and I don't know, a bunch of other stuff. But the ringer there is the saltwater crocs. I've never cooked one, so I'm very excited for this. And pigs, lambs, the whole 9 yards. It's going to be just wild.
You've done a couple of crocs, right? Like, are the alligator? You've done the alligators though,
yes,
right?
The American alligators and the Cayman Island crocodiles, but I've never done a saltwater croc. Saltwater.
Are they
crocs
good? Is it tasty?
It is. It's
Depends on how you cook it.
exactly. It's
It smells
chicken
like
and
fish,
whatever,
but it tastes like chicken. That's
Exactly.
what I hear.
and whatever rub you got on.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it's all about the rub, baby. That's it. You got to get on that rub.
You got to rub it first so it doesn't smell so weird.
That's
Exactly.
it. It only smells that way when you rub it, boys.
Yeah. So I'm pumped. I'm super busy, having a blast. You know how it is.
Yeah.
It's
What's the best part of a croc to eat?
the tail meat.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sides right next to its butt, the 2 sides of that tail meat, it's like tenderloins. They're perfect.
Wow.
I'm out. I don't think I'd try it. I mean,
I'm
you're
in.
an adventurous guy. Like you were talking about all the. No, I don't. I'm weird. I'm
man.
British.
It's
So
coming
now-
from a guy that's
Brit-
never
oh,
eaten
British.
shawarma.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say British,
Yeah.
so you like everything like pressure cooked.
Boiled.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Boiled.
yeah,
Boiled
yeah. If they could
ribs.
figure out how to boil pizza, they would.
I had an elk roast the other day. It was great. We boiled it with the potatoes and the carrots, and everything was fantastic. That's I
When
put ketchup
Mel
on it, but it
came
was too
down,
spicy. That's yeah.
when Mel came down on
Ketchup
Friday,
is spicy, you guys. I can't eat this
It's
ketchup. What
this
is
napkin
iron?
is very spicy.
Oh, this is so.
Dean,
salty.
I'm
What
telling
is
you
this
right
bread?
now, Mel came down, unloaded all the barbecue. It was still hot. He had cooked all night, and we started eating. I would have eaten anything he would have brought down. I would have ate it out of his ass. It was so fucking good.
dude.
You would have eaten an alligator. If
That's
he
a
would have
show.
brought a fucking alligator
That's a
down,
show.
he would have.
That's a show. That's an entire podcast. Is you eating alligator out of
So-
Mel's asshole?
This is truth be told. So I do a lot of Argentinian cooking. I have a friend that's.
Oh,
that's
I thought
straight-
you were going to say, truth be told, I've had made people eat things out of my
I
ass.
serve out
before.
of my asshole constantly. Yeah.
I wasn't going to go there. Whatever, but so interesting fact. I'm going to Japan next year. I'm very excited for this. Right. So
Bucket list for me for sure.
So bucket list food for me is the
Yeah.
baby in the shot glass, drizzled with soy sauce, and then eaten while the tentacles are hitting your nostrils.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
it,
you guys
that's
can
great
fuck
food.
off.
No, I want
What about-
something that's going to dance the whole way down my throat, and then a quick shot of sake to make
I don't know
sure
about
it's.
that.
I'm done.
Make sure-
100%. I am going to do that several times.
The
throughout
beating
my-
heart of the snake.
Yes.
They do that one
All
too,
of it.
where it's still
All of it.
beating.
You don't
Because why
care. Hey,
wouldn't you?
meat's meat. You don't care
Why wouldn't you? You're there once.
because it's alive.
Well,
'Cause
somebody
it's
else
attacking
did
your
it.
face while you eat it.
Well, put
That's
your
why.
mask on and try and eat it. It'll be fine. You'll be totally okay.
Toronto.
You'll be safe. You'll be safe, Toronto. Enjoy yourself. That's it.
Hey, do
This
you
is
hate
the-
people in Toronto as much as Lachlan does?
This
Yes
is
or
the
no?
joke. This is the joke, man. I would be in 2019, and I'm being
Yeah.
dead serious here. In 2019, in the height of all of this crazy stuff, I would fly down to Texas from Edmonton and then have to stop in Toronto on my way back to Edmonton when I came back from Texas, a two or 3 week stint in Texas, where there was no masks, there was no gloves, there was no nothing. And then I would get to the Toronto airport and people are wearing 3 masks on their face with gloves and a fishbowl on their head. And I'm like, just trying not, you know what I mean? Just get through the airport, get back to Edmonton, you know what I mean? Like, and they're shaking while they're putting their coffee on the, like, what is happening here? Why would you leave your house if you were that fucking scared? I'm just saying, if you were that fucking scared, stay the fuck home. If I had to put a fishbowl on my head, I wouldn't leave the fucking house. What are they? Like, honestly,
This
it's
is coming
insanity.
from the guy that wore cutoffs and turquoise cowboy
Exactly. I'm just saying. I'm just whatever, and I'm not trying
to
to
a
share
football party.
No, and listen, I've gone through a lot of your content, buddy. You like throwing caution to the wind always. So
That's it.
like,
I'm not throwing political nothing. I'm not. I'm
No.
just saying it was a
I know.
weird. It was a weird
Juxtaposition
polarization
for sure. Yeah.
to come from Florida.
Well put,
I was in Louisiana. I was in so Fairhope, Alabama. I went to Alabama. This was in 2019, April 2019. So this was right after it hit here. And my parents were like, "You're not allowed to fly, Mel. You can't fly. The news tells me crystal clear you can't fly." I'm like, "Well, I'm booked. I'm going." And then I just went to the airport. I went through, and then when customs saw me, they were like, "Who died?" Nobody. I'm going for a barbecue thing.
A cow.
Yeah. They're like, "Oh, a barbecue thing. Yeah, we barbecue." Like, okay, I went through. And they were like, and I couldn't, and my dad was like, "You're not allowed to fly, man. Like it says on the news, there's no trips anywhere. People are selling their houses in Florida because they can't get there." Well, did they get off their ass and go to the airport? Because I did, and I went right fucking through. Sell your house if you have to, but what's wrong with you? Like you could have just went to the airport and went back to your house. Like it doesn't make any sense. But this is whatever it is.
Yeah.
What it is.
It's what you had to
So
do, dude.
this is,
Everybody, it doesn't matter. Like everybody had things to do. You're working. Everybody has to figure it out, right? And I totally get it. But I love the fact that you're like, you know what? I'm gonna raw dog it and see what happens. And you just
No, and that's how you make it, man. You fake it till you make it, wherever you can. And to be honest, I did sanitize.
But you're
myself.
also probably not a super uber asshole when you go into airports where you're like, challenge my rights, go ahead. You're like, no, man, I'm just a barbecue guy. And they're like, fuck, we love you. Go on in.
Hold on, I'll sanitize my face one more time. Hold on.
Okay, yeah. Little busy. Attaboy.
Like Trump
love
said,
this
right?
guy's
As long
raised.
as there's like 40% alcohol in your body, you're fine. It's
That's kind
I've
of
been
why
living by that rule for a long time now.
pre-COVID.
I fought off AIDS 3 times now. This is
That's it. Pack of fisherman's friends and some of that fucking hooch behind you, you're fine.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fought off AIDS 3 times. Mel Schmiller,
Everybody
Dark
has
Side of the
that
Grill.
guy in their friends group, right? That, like, I
think
guess
that-
I'll do it.
Yeah, that's it.
Hold my beer. Mel may be that guy.
Get the little guy out of the closet. Let's do this. That's it. Yeah. That's it.
Mel Schmiller, Dark Side of the Grill. If you go to
shit.
darksideofthegrill.com, you can connect with Real Barbecue by your local pitmaster in the Edmonton region. Obviously, he travels. I can't
He's
wait to get
never
you out
here. I don't know how we can call him an Edmontonian. He fucking
Whatever.
travels every weekend.
Yeah,
I actually found a baby picture of me in an Oilers too.
did you?
Just so
Yeah.
you know.
How old are you?
I'm 40,
Oh, okay. So yeah,
41 now.
you and a baby too,
41.
40 years. Yeah, that's prime time. Edmonton Oilers. Yeah,
Right.
that's
Yeah,
prime time. That's a
exactly.
prime time
That's
too. Listen, appreciate you being here, and thank you very much for giving us your
Cheers,
time.
guys.
We can't wait to get started with
I love you, Mel.
Hook you up with Lynn's.
I love you.
Thank
We're
you
going
very
to
much.
connect these brands, and we're going to do some work together, and we're going to put this on stilts, and we're going to send you a couple of P-meal bacon sliders from the food truck this weekend as well.
Done deal. And
Right.
I will come out there. I love Toronto.
Let's do some things. Yeah,
all right.
let's definitely, like, just this conversation alone, I swear it moved like 4 times. So yeah,
Right
we
on.
got to do some things.
He's got a
Done
meat
deal.
boner right now.
got a meat boner.
Meat
I love
boner
it.
in the
That's it.
podcast.
You
Yeah,
gotta
yeah.
have his barbecue, Lynn.
Oh, it looks so
good.
good. I saw your videos and your pictures from what you guys did at Cruise, and it
So
was
good.
so good.
So fucking good, man.
And he's
Oh
right.
my God.
You said it. You said it perfectly, and I got to give Mel credit. The proteins are fucking great, but if you can't pair it with the right sides, and you can't put a full board of food up, don't
you guys
show up.
I've been
Don't
trying to
even
get
show
out
up.
of this podcast for like 20
Sorry.
minutes now. Can you guys jerk each other off
That
offline?
corn,
after-
that corn thing you brought down. What the hell was that? I took a bunch of that home. That was so fucking good. It was like spicy
Yes.
but
It's-
just amazing.
It's a Chipotle cold corn salad with bacon ranch.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So a little bit of
Fat guy
cilantro, a
sauce.
little bit of it's
Yeah.
slippery. So
Yeah.
God damn.
I'm not
All right,
saying
we can
I
go
don't
now,
have a
Dean.
food. Okay, good.
Yeah, Locke's done.
Mhm.
That finished Locke. He's ready for a nap now.
And I'm spent. That's it. That's it.
And
Don't touch
scene.
him. Don't touch him for 10 minutes.
That's it.
Mel, great to meet you. We're going to talk offline. You and Lindsay are going to talk offline. You have a fucking great day. I want to thank you very much for your time, brother.
Thank
Just
you
a
very much.
pleasure to meet you. Great to hear
Thanks
you.
this week,
story,
Mel.
and we're going to talk
Thank-
again.
Thank you guys very much. This was
Thank
awesome.
you.
Anytime, buddy. Great to see you. There's Mel Schmiller from Dark Side of the Grill.
What a cool dude.
Isn't he great? Dude, that's what we're doing with you. We're doing that with you. You're going to be our food guy. You know what? The only thing better than meeting a food guy is creating the food guy with the food guy. Right?
I think I can kind of pull the hair off. Maybe. The top won't be so lustrous, but the back, I'm sure I could totally get it.
I love that guy. He doesn't, you know what? He is what he is, and he doesn't give a fuck.
His Instagram is
his Instagram's the best.
Fucking wild.
Yeah.
My God, when he came down on Friday and Jimmy left the room and he was like, he goes, I don't trust those little fuckers. I just about couldn't continue.
He's got a little person issue, does he? He's a little scared of him. He's a little worried.
No, I don't think it was that. He was just like, they're shifty. I don't. He's gonna come back in here and bite me. Grant and I were laughing so hard I couldn't even go back on the air. We had to put an extra song in. And then Jimmy comes in. He's like, "What?" And then he looks right at him. He goes, "I don't trust you at all." Like, it was so funny.
That sounds so good.
Salt of the earth. Bringing people together with food and not trusting small people.
You have a good weekend, Linz. I hope you have a wicked success there with the.
We will. I know. I have a good feeling about it. It's got such good buzz. Not even just within our network alone. It's like watching the Cheese Boutique, the way they do their stuff, and watching their socials. It's
they retweeted your visit with us this morning.
Yeah. They're fantastic. Their media people are really good. I can't say enough for how much they support whoever comes to do what they do. So if you are in the Toronto area and you're like a cook and you've got some chops, hit up the Cheese Boutique and talk to them about taking over the food truck. It's a great opportunity.
When you get a minute, until is spelt wrong. 11 a.m. until sold out. Just when you get it.
Oh, you had a little Lachlan moment, little dyslexic moment.
Did you have Lachlan proofread this or what?
It's Unital. It's Spanish for until.
Leave it.
Yeah, leave it there. You know how like political parties misspell things on purpose so everybody rages and it gets shared more?
See?
Fucking dude, smart move.
It's our homage.
I love it.
Yeah. Either that or Jimmy.
It's probably wasted. No, I think I was wasted when I made it.
No, come and join us. We're going to be there this weekend. We're going to have Afram on the show on Friday with Linz, and we're going to lean into that. That's going to be Saturday. People coming from all over Ontario from the network to support this. So
that's another big one.
Takeover. Yeah.
Can't wait to meet a ton of people that I haven't met yet that are coming. So
if you
want to meet your fellow Crier personality, come out. You're going to meet lots. I'm
going to be there. We'll see you on the weekend. Thanks for doing this, Linz. Make sure everybody follows him at Ryan Lindley on Twitter or at getting_sauced. Just like that. Give him a follow. All the details. Big weekend this weekend. Cheese Boutique, 45 Ripley Avenue. We'll talk to you soon, brother. Great to have you on the show today.
Love you, boys. This felt good. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it is. Nice
good
to have
see
you
you,
back. Good to see you, pal. Take care. Ryan Lindley. From the Getting Sauced podcast this weekend. I'm excited for him.
It's gonna be back tomorrow?
Yeah, dog. Spenny's going to join us. He's really excited.
Okay.
Because Donald Trump hasn't been arrested yet. And he's like literally sitting by his television every day going, is it happening yet? Is it happening yet?
He's that guy. I told you guys last week it wasn't going to happen. I think
Trump lied. No, I think he lied about the whole arrest thing.
He's never going to jail.
I think he's going to get booked. He's going to get. I don't know if he's going to jail, but he's going to get booked. He's going to get charged.
Well, he might get indicted, but too many people want to see him in jail. Like it's weird. Like
you don't want to see him in jail.
I would love. I would find it entertaining. I'm not sitting by my computer waiting for it to happen.
Spenny is.
Yeah,
and he also got in trouble for putting up a video on Twitter yesterday.
Like okay, we'll talk about that then. That's a good. That's a good tease.
So Spenny's tomorrow. We'll be back. Lock and Cross. Dean,
thank you for bringing my buddy Mel on today too.
Oh, dude, he's awesome. I'm so glad that he came.
So good.
We got to see. Here's in my mind. This is what we got to do. We got to wrap those brands up. I'm having a business conversation now. Wrap those brands up. Let's start working with Mel. Let's start working with Ryan. Let's create some barbecue content. But I had no idea until the last few weeks how much money there is in food.
Yeah.
So much money, and people love it. It brings everybody together.
Yeah.
We're going to rally the world around pea meal bacon and fucking sliders. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah. Well,
Excited
and the thing about Mel too is he's just salt of the earth guy too, right? Like, so just a good all around dude.
Just a regular person. We need to get back to that. Talking to regular people, good human beings, and staying away from all the bullshit. I told you for the last 2 years, I don't want to talk about the pandemic anymore. You wouldn't listen.
Oh my God. I want to reach through that computer screen and choke your white head out. I do. I want to choke you out right now.
That's going to get us banned from YouTube. Way to go.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. I can't. I'm in Edmonton. He's in Toronto. But
you want to come here. Yeah, I know. You want to come here. Anyway, I'm glad we're moving on. I'm glad that you've decided to come with us on this journey.
I'm going to go check your Twitter, because the whole time you've been talking about this, every day I go on your Twitter, and then you're fighting with somebody. And I haven't fought with anybody for days. Weeks, really. Why bother? Tired of it. What's the point? What are you gonna convince somebody that the way that you think is better than the way they think? No, it's pointless. Not interested. That's what I've been saying.
No, you haven't. You've been telling me the opposite. You're like, keep going, dude.
This is all in my book. This conversation might be in my book too. All right.
Oh yeah, we got to get to that tomorrow too. Your book. We'll get it with Spenny because he's writing a book too, so you guys can compare notes.
That's awesome. I'm a little pissed off at Spenny, so we'll touch on that.
Yeah. I can't wait to find out why. Great to see you, dude. Thanks for bringing Mel. Lachlan Cross 957 Cruise FM in Edmonton, at Lachlan Cross on Twitter. Give him a follow. We'll talk to you soon. There you go. That's it for us. Have a great day. As always, we're brought to you by our friends at Cantork, Canada's assembly tool experts. What does that mean? You know those people that make tools nobody can find, fabricate tools nobody can find, nobody can make, specific applications for industries that are impossible to make tools for? That's what they do, and they do it for people around the world. Nuclear, railroad, heavy machinery, forestry. It doesn't mining. It doesn't matter. These guys are like fit to do whatever you are fit to do in those industries. They make rugged, hardworking, beautiful torque wrenches. Canada's leading industrial tool experts. Sales, rentals, calibration, service, maintenance, and custom fab of industrial torque tools. No matter the scale of your bolting project, friends, my guys, Colin Livingston, his crew at Cantork, has your solution. Go to cantork.com today for more information. Need some Gitch? Yes, you do. Skivvies. Everybody needs underwear. Our partner Gitch, engineered for any performance at every level. Buy 3, get 1 free. Get 1 free using promo code GITCH3 at checkout. Where do you buy these luxurious underwear with the pouch in the front that are super breathable and made for all levels of performance? edsfineimports.com. Gitch, your underwear made for Canadians, designed by Canadians, and you can get a free pair right now if you go to edsfineimports.com and use promo code GITCH3 at your checkout. Trust me, they're the best underwear you'll ever buy. edsfineimports.com. Clothing for men and boys, by the way. And hey, listen, you underneath it, you got a legal issue you got to take care of. There's one person and one group I trust. It's kivlaw.ca. Kivlaw Defense Lawyers, the best in Southern Ontario. If you want to speak to a lawyer now, go to kivlaw.ca today. Get your life back, get the defense that you need, and someone that explains honest answers about your situation from experienced defense lawyers that know everything about what you're going through and can marshal you through the process. Kivlaw.ca, defense lawyers that take care of any wrongful arrest, any moving violation, anything. Doesn't matter what it is. They're your group. They're your people. That's your guy. Email Robert today, robert@kivlaw.ca, robert@kivlaw.ca. Have a great day. See you tomorrow. Spenny from Kenny versus Spenny is going to join us. We're going to talk Trump. We're going to talk books, and we'll talk about why Lachlan is pissed off at him, and we'll get to the video that almost got him canceled yesterday. Have a great day. We will see you tomorrow, right? You'll be here tomorrow, 4 o'clock. That's right. You'll be here tomorrow. So will we. See you then. Bye.